All right, you guys, the goal for today is to get this STI out of the garage and get the gray one back in here. I want to get this one wrapped up, so there's a lot of little stuff that we're going to be doing today. Our new coil packs are out for delivery. Our new map sensor is out for delivery. Unfortunately, my JDM bits did get delayed in shipping, so it's not the end of the world, but I want to get this one wrapped up. There's a couple other smaller stuff we have to do. We need to bleed the clutch. I want to lower the front coilovers just a hair, just to look the exact same as the rears, just to get that knocked out, so that way once the gray one comes back in here, I don't have to keep playing like Russian roulette with these cars and do one car in, one car out, one car in, one car out. I guess it'd be more along the lines like musical chairs, musical cars, like in, out, in, out, in, out kind of thing. So we're gonna get started by removing the coil packs in the black STI and the map sensor, so that way when that new stuff gets dropped off today, we can easily just slap them on. I also need to get that other coil pack back into Mittens, just so Mittens is like a complete motor, so that way whenever the time comes where we actually go to break down Mittens and actually start working on it, we can get that knocked out. Before we jump into the car though, I do want to show you guys this from the last video of the molding and the fiberglass of this. Yesterday I just spent a lot of time sanding it and kind of shaping it. This is about the best I could get. Does it look 100% perfect? No. Does it look like 80%, 85, 90% perfect? Yeah, not too bad. So we have our opening right there for air to come out through. Let me get this in a little bit better light so you guys can see it. I think I went a little bit heavy with the clear coat on there because it's pretty glossy, but it'll get the job done. So our air will come out of there. Our fiberglass came out actually pretty well on that. I did find out that there was a JDM option or another option for intake tracks from older Outbacks and Foresters. Unfortunately, it's a discontinued part from what I could find. So in the future, whenever we go to a junkyard, I will keep an eye out for one. But for the meantime, this will work more than well for what we need. So I need to get down to the coil packs in this. So hot side piping has to come out, well, cold side piping has to come out, and this whole intake box area just so I can get down to the coil packs down there. So let me get these things out, we'll get that map sensor out, and we'll set them aside and wait for the new stuff to come in. So coil packs and 4-bar map sensor are out of the car. I physically don't see anything wrong with this map sensor. So I don't know if it's an electrical thing, maybe scaling on it just doesn't want to work. But from the physical aspect, it looks totally fine. So when the new Cobb 4-bar shows up today, we'll get that in. Next thing I want to tackle, the next two things on the list, I need to bleed the clutch and adjust the coilovers in the front. So I think I'm going to do the front coilovers first, just because those seem a little bit easier to get to than bleeding the clutch. Plus I don't really want to have to deal with brake fluid right this second. So let me start with this one. So right now I only want to drop it down like maybe 3/4 of an inch just to bring this wheel gap equal to the back of the car. So if you guys have never adjusted coilovers before, it's quite simple. Let me get this jacked up. Let me get this wheel off and I'll show you guys how to do this.
Wood shop? Yeah. Woodworking tools. Yeah.
That's good. All right, to adjust coilover, it's pretty straightforward. You loosen the bottom collar right here. That allows you to spin this whole assembly. You're gonna adjust height using this top collar here. You don't wanna break this one loose or else you're gonna end up changing the preload of the coilover, which is something we don't wanna do. I'm just gonna be using this one as leverage to adjust the height. You just wanna move this whole threaded assembly up and down in this lower collar, and that is going to get your height set. So before I started doing anything on this, we were at 2 inches of gap here. I'm gonna bring that down to 1.5, see how it looks, and go from there. Before I throw the wheel back on though, a lot of you guys ask me where I jack my cars up from. On these older GD chassis, since I have the bumper off right now and you can see, I go off the front subframe right there. I never jack up off of the pinch welds if I can avoid it. If, and I say if you do need to jack up off the pinch weld, Get yourself one of these. It's a pinch weld jack tool, so you don't absolutely demolish your pinch welds. I've used this thing a ton. I will link it down below for anyone else who wants one, but huge lifesavers. So let me get that wheel back on. Let's get the car back on the ground, see how it looks. Come on, wheel. Do I want to go down more? Do I want to be a lower boy? Do I want to be lower? We could be lower. Let's go lower. Let's go another 1/4 inch. Let's bring it down another 1/4 inch, see how it looks. Let's just time lapse through me doing this one. So I've got height set on the car and I am pretty happy with it. So up here in the front, I left about 1 inch of clearance on the coilover, which gives us good daily driving. We still have some room up in here to absorb some of the road unevenness, call it whatever you want, my friends, but the fronts are good. The rears I'm not quite happy with. There's no way for me to adjust and pull the camber out of the rear, so I went ahead and I ordered the BC Racing rear camber plates, which will sit on top of the rear coilovers back here and allow me to adjust camber. So I mean, for now the camber will have to deal with it, but height wise pretty happy with this. Also, it's good for daily driving. We're not going to have any issues, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, with scraping or anything like that, but hey, pretty happy with it, you guys. So now I need to get the clutch bled, but everyone seems to be busy and I need a second person to help me with this. So I'm going to be on standby. We have a whole bunch of spilt water right there from the intercooler sprayer. So I'm gonna be on standby until Melanie comes home or until Matt gets free. And we're on standby for UPS and FedEx to drop off some of our stuff. So I'll catch you guys in a minute. We're gonna get this thing out of the garage today. Or we're actually gonna get it running right, I guess. We're gonna get it running right. Now, before I forget, I did wanna read this to you guys because Chris, I'm pulling it up on my phone right now. Chris did email me back for the logs that I had sent him the other day. He said, your boost reading is jacked. It's completely off. 15 PSIG is not possible, so that is related to our OmniMap sensor. So either the OmniMap sensor is poop or the settings for the VA STI are not working on the GD. It's a very real possibility. But the reason I had to skew the map sensor scaling on your VA STI is because the Omni sensor is poop. Omni sensor's poop coming straight from the tuner. We should be seeing around 8 PSIG, I don't know, pounds square inch something maybe. I don't know what that stands for. I'll have to look it up. Don't remember off the top of my head. We should be seeing 8 to 11 at idle, probably closer to 8 to 9 with the cams in the car. And remember, we were not around that. I don't even know what we were. What were we? We were at 15. It's not even possible. So he sent me 3 maps, one of them for the stock map sensor, which broke when I was removing it. It was just extremely dry rotted and ended up cracking. The little nipple on the end of it, like you guys can see if I bring this closer to my face, that little nipple that you see on the end of it, that broke off in the throttle body, so I had to fish that out, get all that junk out. So we can't test with that one. The Cobb 4-bar should be showing up today, so that way we can at least get this thing tested, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it actually runs right and we can actually drive this car. So like I said, we're gonna be on standby until UPS and FedEx drops off our goods. So I'll catch you guys here shortly. Once again, we're in the future. So FedEx just dropped off our brand new coil packs. They look incredible. They look absolutely amazing. They look a lot better than the ones that have been in the car forever. I'll show you guys like a quick difference between the two of them. I'm gonna be honest, they're pretty much the exact same coil pack, but 16 years newer. So new coil pack is right here. It looks absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously there's no dirt, grease, grime, anything like that built up on it. Here's the old grungy coil packs that have lived their lives. 3 of them still work just fine. This 4th one right here will probably just go, actually I'm just gonna throw it in there right now so it doesn't get mixed in with anything. So let's get these new coil packs in. We can get the intake box back in, the charge piping back in on the blob eye, and then we're just waiting on our map sensor and we can start this thing up and get it going. So everything is pretty much buttoned up at this point with the exception of bleeding the clutch, which I'm about to go kidnap Melanie to help me with, and the new map sensor. So new coil packs are in, everything is buttoned up. The intake track that we modified is back in also. I wish I didn't go as heavy with the gloss, but you know what, it's no big deal. It's functional, it works, it will direct airflow into the box. So that's all I was really shooting for with that one. So now that we have the new coil packs in, everything else is buttoned up. The last thing we're waiting on is that map sensor to show up. So I think Melanie's eating right now, so I'm gonna go kidnap her in like 10 minutes. We're gonna bleed this clutch, and then hopefully as we're bleeding the clutch, UPS drops off our new map sensor. I don't even know what that was. I don't even know why I did that. So I've recruited the help of Matthew to help me bleed the clutch. If you guys don't know how to bleed a clutch, it's the exact same as the brakes. You're gonna have someone to press the clutch pedal 3 to 4 times, hold it in. As it's held in, you're gonna go to your master cylinder right down there, and there's that small little nipple on the bleeder valve of the master cylinder. Well, it's the slave cylinder. You're gonna crack it open while everything's depressed down, get air and old fluid out. Do that a couple times. Clutch has been bled. The only reason I'm doing this is because we have that new clutch in there. So I just want to make sure everything is pretty good or pretty well adjusted for this. So let's bleed a clutch. Let's bleed a clutch. Clutch has now been bled, and let me tell you guys, this fluid is gross. It was a lot darker than this when we started pulling it out, because this is mixed in with some new fluid as we were flushing the little master reservoir for the clutch assembly. It was gross. There were like black strains of schmoo floating around in there. Make sure you guys bleed your clutches every once in a while. I don't know the actual service interval. I rarely bleed my clutch because I don't ever think it's necessary, but I'm guessing this hasn't been bled in probably 8 to 10 years because the fluid we pulled out of there was black, like black. So we initially started with some OEM brake fluid just till we ran out of that, and then we swapped over to the StopTech STR 600. I've just had that hanging around the garage for the past like 5-6 years. It has never been opened in that time, surprisingly, either. But like I said, clutch is bled, feels awesome. Good springiness to it, good responsiveness, good clutch. So now we're just on standby. I already have the revised base map from Chris for the Cobb 4-bar map sensor. So as soon as UPS delivers that map sensor, we'll get it installed on the car. We'll get the new base tune loaded on the access port again, and then we'll fire it up, and hopefully that fixes all of our idling issues, all of our funky AFRs, and we can actually go drive this car in the next video, because that's my goal, is to get this thing out on the road. Oh, I thought it was gonna fall. It's time to see if this is going to fix all the problems the car has and if it'll make it run right. So if I can open this, like, how did I open this? I've already gone through some of the stuff. So we have new hardware and some super lube. We've got the actual map sensor here, so it's a different style than our Omni was. We have our adapter piece. We've got some red Loctite. We've got some zip ties. Boop. So how this works is there's a small O-ring in this bag right in there. You can kind of see it right down in there. That O-ring is going to sit on that. We're going to put a little bit of super lube on it, shove it right in where the old map sensor used to go. So instead of it being a straight plug-in style, we run this adapter to the map sensor, and then that plugs into our stock wiring harness. So I'm going to get that wiring harness repaired up a little bit so I can plug this in a little bit better. Hopefully this fixes the issues. Once that's in, we'll get the base tune pulled from the computer, get it on the access port, start it up, and make sure that all of our air-fuel ratios are on point at this point. Or at this present time. All right, we've got our battery tender good to go. Let me hop in here and start uploading. I really hope that this fixes like all the problems. That's base map V1, this is base map V5, Cobbers map. All right, hopefully this fixes everything. We are on a charger, test mode connectors. I gotta plug those in, the little green guys. Please disconnect green connectors. Can I start the car to see if this fixes the problems before we go? All right, let's see if this fixes stuff. We can disconnect our battery charger. I'm gonna do a tool check. Tool check, never hurts. Tool check, no tools, no tools, no tools, nothing in here, we're good. Okay, now we have a new problem. Now we have a cylinder 1 misfire. Why are we misfiring on cylinder 1? We weren't misfiring on cylinder 1 before. Dude, it's like trading one problem for something else. Every single time. One problem for something else every single time, dude. Now I have a cylinder 1 misfire. So you guys wanted the engine running. I'll get into what issues I was finding here in a minute. But here you guys go. Ticking is completely gone at this point, which is good. But now we have other issues. So when I got the base tune loaded up on the car, we went to start it, and yes, the barometric pressure sensor is gone, and it still is gone. But when I loaded the new tune up, something I noticed was that we were getting a misfire on cylinders 1 and 3 on every revolution of the engine. Every single one. Cylinder roughness on cylinder 1 would go up to 99 and then just restart 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way through 99. So you guys saw I started digging around in the engine trying to find anything mechanically wrong with the car. I couldn't find anything. I tried messing around with coil packs, tried messing around with like spark plug. I swapped the plug on cylinder number 1 thinking that it was just a bad plug. Not the case. It ended up being in the tune. I don't know what is up with that tune that was causing cylinder 1 and cylinder 3 to misfire, but I put the original tune that I got from Chris back on the car, the one using the Omni 4-bar map sensor instead of the cob sensor. But I do have the cob sensor on the car right now, and now it's running pretty smooth. It's not perfect. I still can't drive the car until I get a good base tune in, but our AFRs look good for the most part. I mean, with the messed up baro sensor, like, it's running pretty smooth. We're getting a little bit of feedback knock, but I'm guessing that's built in the tune right now. So let me reassemble this airbox, put it back in the car, and put the original new coil pack back in, and then hopefully we can wrap this video up because I still got to edit this thing tonight. So just to show you guys real quick on the access port, you can see that everything is looking pretty solid, to be honest. We have no check engine lights on the dash. Our boost is matching up with our access port, which means our map sensor is scaled properly, and our AFRs are looking a lot better. I wouldn't say they're perfect, but they're definitely getting there. All right, you guys, I am back in the STI. I'm taking one more data log for Chris. I swapped back over to his new base map, the one made for that cob map sensor, and now we're not getting any cylinder roughness at all on cylinder 1. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. So I took a base map, or I took a log on the original base map with this map sensor. Now I'm taking a log with the revised, updated base map, just to send him as well, just to see if he can't tweak a couple things to make it a little bit smoother. But this is where I'm going to end it, you guys. I don't know if I can drive the car quite yet or not. I might take it for a small little test drive around the block tomorrow. I don't quite know, to be honest, with the way that it's running and acting right now. We'll see. But anyways, I'm glad that we got it to a better point. I mean, we have no more check engine lights, so that's a good sign as well. But I guess this is where I'm going to end it, you guys. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, red, orange, silver, cyan, magenta, any color it turns, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up, because we don't even know if this thing's going to be running right yet, and you don't want to miss out on that. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies. Woo! My car's a shit bomb.